Hey, Devon Brown here, Kickoff Keynote King and world's #1 event MC, and in this video, I'm gonna share with you 5 reasons your MC or the person who you've got hosting your event is actually more valuable than the majority of people you've got speaking at your event. Now, I know in the event, seminar, conference industry, that might at face value sound a little blasphemous, right? Most people think it's the opposite. Most people think it's the people you have speaking up here and the MC or the host as an afterthought. And what I'm going to share with you in this video is 5 reasons the opposite is true the vast majority of the time. Now, why do I say the vast majority of the time? Here's why. It's because with regard to the people you have coming to speak at your event, your keynote speakers usually fall into one of 2 categories. Now, the first category of keynote speaker is like the celebrity keynote, the big name keynote, the keynote speaker you have to cap off the event and a whole bunch of people are coming to listen to him or her speak. Like, I'll do events where the keynote is Tony Robbins or David Goggins or Gary Vaynerchuk or Kevin Hart. So right, those big events, that is the primary person coming to keynote at the event. Now, I'm not suggesting that your host or MC is necessarily more important than these people, because these people actually sell tickets and put butts in seats. But this group is only about 5% of the people you have speaking at your event. 95% for most of the events, conferences, and seminars that I do, 95% of the speakers are industry experts, and 95% of the people you have speaking at your event, your audience has probably never heard of. And that's okay, and that's great. But for all of these speakers over here, these industry experts, these other keynotes, I am here to tell you and give you 5 reasons why your MC or your host is more valuable to your event than this group of people speaking. So let's get into the 5 reasons. So 5 reasons your MC or your host is more important than the majority of the people you have speaking at your event. Reason number 1. Your MC or your host sets the tone and sets the stage for your entire event. Think about it for a second. Who is the very first person your audience sees on stage? It's the MC, it's the host. They're the one who comes out and sets the tone for the entire event. So one of the things that I do, for example, when I come out first and I set the tone for the event, is I'll let the audience know, hey, this is what's expected of you. This is how you respond or react when somebody comes on the stage. This is how we make sure we keep the energy in the room. This is the type of event it's going to be. The MC, the host, sets the tone, sets the stage, sets the expectation for the entire event. And they do that right off the jump. That is reason number 1. And by the way, if you don't set the tone right from the beginning, then you're more likely to have a event. So reason number 1, your MC is more valuable than the majority of your people you have speaking at your event, is that they set the tone for the entire event. Reason number 2, your MC or your host is more valuable than the majority of people you have speaking at your event, is that your MC or your host is actually on stage more than anyone else. They are the person who is on stage in front of your audience more than anybody else. Think about it. So the average event that I'll do, I'll be the one to kick off the event, and then in between every speaker, I'm on stage before lunch, after lunch, in between every speaker again, and closing out the event. It is not uncommon for me to be on stage 10 times in a day, and because I'm on stage that much, the audience recognizes me as their guide through the event. So because your MC, because your host is on stage so much, their relationship with your audience is invaluable. Most of the speakers at your event will come, they'll say their speech for 30, 45 minutes, 60 minutes, whatever, and then they'll leave. The audience will never see them again. But especially at multi-day events, your host, your MC is on stage more than anybody else, which is why you need to make sure you get the host MC part right, and which is why I say that is reason number 2, that your host or your MC is more valuable than the majority of people you have speaking at your event.
Hey, real quick, Devon here. I hope you're enjoying the content. I just wanted to take a quick moment to tell you about the MC Directory, the event industry's fastest growing platform that connects event organizers who need great hosts with MCs and stage professionals who want to get booked and put on more stages. So if you're an MC or host, go claim your free listing and get yourself out there. And if you're planning an event, you can search the directory and find find someone awesome to bring your show to life. You'll find the link in the description, or you can head straight over to mcdirectory.com. That's EMCEE directory.com. All right, back to it.
Reason number 3 your host or your MC is more valuable than the majority of people you have speaking at your event is because your host or your MC has to be a better public speaker than 90% of the people you have speaking at your event. Let me dive into this a little bit. So your host, your MC, has to be able to stall for time. They have to be able to riff. They have to be able to speak off the cuff. The majority of people you have coming to speak at your event, those individuals are gonna come and they're gonna give the same speech they've given a zillion different times. Your MC's job is to make sure that if this person is boring, if this person lowers the energy, then the MC has to be a better public speaker because they have to be able to lift the energy back up or make up for this particular person who was kind of boring. Here's the thing. Most people who speak at conferences and seminars are industry experts. Being an industry expert doesn't make you a good speaker by default. I hope that makes sense. Let me say that again. Just because you have somebody coming to your stage who's an industry expert or who has accomplished something big and has a reason to be on the stage does not mean that they're going to be a great public speaker. I cannot tell you the number of conferences and seminars that I've hosted, that I've emceed, where the person who is some big name expert, right? Not famous celebrity keynote, but big name expert comes on stage and they're boring as snot. Why? Because being an industry expert doesn't mean you're a great public speaker. However, your MC or your host has to be a good public speaker. One final example of this, there have been dozens of times where somebody who is asked to give a keynote or asked to give a presentation at an event gets on stage, and because they're not an experienced public speaker, they speak quickly. And when they speak quickly, they end early. And then I, or one of my elite MCs, because I actually train MCs, I have to go on stage and now fill in a 20-minute gap and speak off the cuff for 20 minutes because your speaker, the person who you had speaking at the event, rushed their presentation and ended up leaving the stage early. So your MC, I would argue, is more valuable than the majority of your public speakers because your MC has to be a better public speaker than the majority of people you have speaking at your event. I know, a little counterintuitive, but it's true. Reason number 4 that your MC is more valuable than the majority of keynote speakers you have coming to your event is because the MC manages the energy in the room. Like I said in the last example, how many times have you ever gone to a conference or seminar and had a speaker be boring? And that's not throwing shade or stone, it's just a thing that happens. If you have 10 speakers over the course of 2 days, 3 or 4 of them are probably gonna be pretty boring. Well, who is the person who has to come on stage after that and lift the energy in the room back up and engage the crowd and get them excited to keep showing up for session after session after session? Your MC or your host. And so, because your MC or your host manages the energy in the room, and for a successful event, it's all about energy, for that's reason I should say number 4, that your MC or your host is more valuable than the majority of speakers you have speaking on your stage. Reason number 5. Reason number 5, the MC or the host is more valuable than the majority of people you have speaking on your stage at your event is because the MC represents your event, whereas your keynote speakers represent themselves. Let me explain what I mean by this. When one of your normal keynote speakers comes on stage, they're interested in usually giving a speech that's like, here's my expertise, here's the thing I'm good at, here's why I'm an expert, blah, 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 you know, and hopefully it's great content for the audience, and I'm not taking anything away from that, right? This is why I'm an expert, and let me tell you, and, you know, give you the same speech I've given a million different times, and hopefully it's of value. Your MC doesn't do that. Your MC gets on stage and says, this event is awesome. Here's why this event is awesome. Here's why you need to be excited about this speaker. Here's why you need to show up for this, that, and the other. Here's why you need to be there for every session. Here's why you need to be excited. So as opposed to public speakers or keynote speakers in this context who represent themselves on stage, the MC represents you, represents your event. And the MC's job is to big up, as we say, each of the speakers and the event as a whole, if that makes sense. So those are 5 reasons that your MC is more valuable than the majority of people you have speaking at your event. And by the way, now that I'm thinking about it, let me give you a quick bonus tip as to why your MC is arguably more valuable than 95% of the people you have speaking at your event, the bonus tip is this. Your MC is one of the biggest linchpins, if you will, for your event making more money. Your MC will help, a good MC can help your event make more money by keeping the audience more engaged and by reiterating your pitch or your offer and helping you increase sales. The majority of people you have speaking at your event, they're gonna come, they're gonna say their piece, they're gonna leave. But the MC's job is to help you sell more tickets for the next event, is to make sure that all of your sponsors and vendors are taken care of, is to make sure that the audience is fully engaged and ready and primed for your offer. I'll give you one quick example of this as we head out. I was at an event about a year ago, and one of the things that this event was doing is that they were raising money for a charity. And so what happened was the person came out, the representative from the event came out and said, hey guys, we're raising money for this charity, and they raised $4,000. Cool. They fell way short of their goal. Their goal was closer to 20, and they were really sad about it. And so the next day, the final day of the event, they said, Devon, can you repitch this? Can you go and ask the audience? Well, as the MC, absolutely. So I go out there and I make the pitch to a smaller audience because a few of the audience members had left on day 3. So slightly smaller audience, and I got the audience to donate an additional $10,000. So that charity, as opposed to walking away with $4,000, walked away with $14,000. That is the value of having a top-notch MC at your event. None of the other keynote speakers, even the big keynotes, would have done that or could have done that or would have been in a position to do that. And so I say all this to say this. If you're planning a conference, a seminar, anything especially with multiple speakers, especially over multiple days, I want you to consider placing a higher value on the MC you get. If you gotta get a big keynote or two to put butts in seats, by all means, but other than that, keep in mind that your event is gonna be more successful with a top-level MC or host. And if you're interested in finding a top-level MC or host and you don't know where to find one, check out EliteEmcees.com, EliteEmcees.com. I will put a link in the description. I hope this video was helpful. Thanks for your time.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you taking a few minutes to hang out with me. If this helped you, go ahead and hit follow or subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.